Open your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind. So, a community is where you control your body, control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Well, what about the people that said, yeah? Well, that's not good. He's a multi-millionaire. Almost got a million dollars. 3 PhDs working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his own car, enjoying himself, and he hit his sirens from the lyrics in his top door, flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. But he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passing by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, that Negro that you can get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your billions and your road cars and your PhD, didn't help. That's true. Why do you think you never pick up a paper street over and over? See white families, thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying? That's black cops got my mouth one point. I put the back of the head. Why do you think black cops are going to think they more spiritual and they can say, no. They got enough sense to know that white people tolerated. And I will stop and I think good. When we decide we were not tolerant. Now, if we were organized, which is hard to organize people who are just going to run crazy, you don't run crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the big people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, look, we said, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun have to have a license to expect you to drive a car. And if you use it wrong, if you lose your license, and if it's a jail, you can never work again as a cop, a store boy, a private detective. Now, how do you get Congress to put you next to you take your economic power, and you call on your friends, black, white, young, and old, and say, it's coming Christmas, and we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law. We call it for nationwide for a Christmas in the store on Thanksgiving. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People did business all year. Those money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happened now? Saturday night, joy the hunt, season over, resting out. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, Senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's economic. It's that helpful. But we have the power with the system that wipes us out. So open your mind, your mind, your mind.
And peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Popular Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Man, I know it's been a while, folks, man. I can't begin to explain shit to y'all, man. And it's been rough, man. It's been rough. It's been a rough couple of weeks. That's why I ain't been up on here doing this shit, y'all. I mean, it's just been crazy, man. Lots been going on. Finally got settled into the new crib. I'm not fully settled with all my shit yet. I mean, what y'all see now is just kind of like a bullshit setup because where I'm gonna have my studio ain't really where I got it at now. I just kind of threw shit together, you know. Today, I mean, fucking my, one of my work vehicles broke down, so I fucked up with that. So it just had me crazy. Starting late as hell. Y'all know we usually go in 9:30, but it's damn near 11 o'clock. And god damn it, we just starting. But it's crazy because this is the first show we've done in like 3 weeks, y'all. Like 3 weeks. And I see everybody up there too. I see Stoic One, what's good? Little Rock, what's good? Brother Supreme, what's good? My man Johnny Mills, what's going on, man? I mean, it's just been crazy, man. The last few weeks have been crazy. Then guess what? It ain't over because I'm still up to my damn eyeballs, man, in fucking boxes. Been in the house almost 2 weeks. Finally getting everything switched, because we moved about 20 minutes away from where we were living before. And it's just been nuts, man. And I'm trying to get my life back in order and still work. Then my goddamn main work truck broke down. The motherfucker that I drive, that shit broke down. So, it's just a lot going on, y'all. I'm handling it though. That's why I'm late as a motherfucker, man. I was outside working on my goddamn truck, boy, because I need that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, but I am back. We're gonna be throwing down, man. We right back at it, y'all. I know I've been gone for a while, but one thing I did see today when I checked my emails, I saw PayPal donations. I mean, I know I always start the show, man, with telling y'all about your donations and how y'all support this channel, man. But I mean, it's crazy, man, because I haven't been on the air in like 3 cycles. And I checked my PayPal shit today because I hadn't even been looking at my PayPal and shit like that, because I ain't been on the air. I didn't have 1 donation in there, not 2 donations, not 3 donations, not 4 donations. I had 5 goddamn donations in there, man. 5. And I ain't been on the air in like 3 weeks. So, like always, man, I always got to thank y'all, man, because the way y'all support this channel, man, I mean, it's just unbelievable, man. It's like, y'all even drop. Yeah, I know, brother Johnny. I was down at the Goats watching his shit. I had his shit on my phone while I was freaking working on my truck and shit. Yeah, today's 50th anniversary of Fred Hampton got shot and shit. But yeah, I mean, the way y'all support this channel, man. I mean, it's like I don't know, man. I mean, y'all folks, man, y'all support this channel, man, and y'all drop coins on this channel, man. And I know, every show I started with that, and y'all probably like, oh, X is a sappy Negro. But I don't care. I'm gonna start this show every time thanking y'all for supporting this channel. Because like I always say, man, y'all don't have to support this channel, man, with your views, with your freaking what's good, brother Kenny. I see you up there. You don't have to support it with your views, with your subscriptions, with your support, with your money. You don't have to do it, but you choose to do it. You choose to come here and be part of the T.P.O.T thing, man. And I appreciate y'all, man. I mean, I always say, man, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm appreciative, man. And I don't say this shit to kiss y'all butts, because y'all been following me long enough. Y'all know X don't kiss no butts. But I say it because y'all good folks, man, and y'all are good fans, man, and y'all support this goddamn channel, and y'all even send donations up in here when I ain't been on in 3 weeks. So once again, man, I thank y'all, man. I appreciate all of y'all, man. All of y'all. All right. All right. So tonight we're going, hey, what's up, WOTP? I see you down there. We coming back with my man Cory Haywood. I don't know if y'all heard of the brother before. He writes for Euroweb. I mean, Cory's been coming on my shit, man, for years. That's like my little bro and shit. You know, he's a writer, he's an author, he's a blogger, he's a freaking provocateur. And I've known Cory for about 5-6 years now. He used to actually come on my show when I was in the booth when I worked for Nubia Hood Radio. So Cory's been around me in media for a long time. He probably like, what the hell is X doing? So let me see. Okay. I did send him the link. I guess he gonna hit it and come on in when he get ready and shit. So yeah, brother Cory gonna come on tonight, man. And those of you who have seen Cory on here before, y'all know that Cory's a shit starter. He's a provocateur. He's all of that shit. So, you know, I don't know what he gonna come up here talking shit about tonight. All I know is he hit me up last week and he was like, X, oh man, I want to come on, you know. So, you know, that's my boy. So I'm like, okay. I said, I ain't doing nothing this week. I said, but I'm gonna try to be back next week. I would have been up in here on time, y'all, but my goddamn work truck went down, and that's the truck that I drive. Okay, that's my vehicle. Okay, you know, and cause wifey don't be letting me let you use her car like talk about. She's like, nah, you could take you could take my shit to go to the auto parts store, but I want my shit parked back. Shit, she don't even want me to put parts. I had to take, you know, power steering pump. And you know, I took the alternator out because I was gonna get a new alternator too, because you know you got to take the alternator out to get to the freaking power steering and all that shit anyway. So I got a warranty on the alternator. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to buy a power steering pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and freaking get a new alternator too, you know, because the alternator's only like 6 months old. And I actually got over because the brother was in there, you know, the brother that I see all the time, he was in there. And the alternator that I bought last time, it was only like $150 alternator. The brother hooked me up and gave me like the $260 joint, you know, on the warranty, and I didn't have to give him nothing. So that was the lookout right there. I was like, damn, I'm glad I decided to bring this shit. And wifey, you know, because my wife got a nice car. And she's like, oh, don't get no oil in my car. You know, she want me to wrap this shit up in boxes and plastic and all this some kind of bullshit. So, you know, gotta fix my work truck, man. You know, it's my ass to be walking. Because wifey won't even give a motherfucker a ride. If he too dirty, goddamn it. Motherfucker got to catch an Uber. What's good, brother Marcus? What's going on, man? Yeah, she make a nigga catch a Uber, boy. What you in my car, oiling up my car, blah, blah, blah. Shit. Goddamn car that I bought, by the way. Shit is crazy, man. It's just nuts, y'all. It's nuts. But yeah, that's why I'm late, y'all. But I don't know what the hell's going on with Cory. Goddamn it. I've been sent him the link. But he is in California, so it's like 11 o'clock over here where I'm at, but where he at, it's only 8. So I might have to hit him up on the phone. God damn it. What the hell is going on? But you know, what's good, Stoic One? I see you up there, man. You know? Yeah, Brother Supreme, you know. Don't be wanting the brother to get up in there sometime. Like, should I get up in the car and shit? She wanted to put towels and shit on the seat and all some kind of shit. you better put a towel on that seat before you get up in here, you know. That kind of shit, man. It's crazy. But yeah, man. So what y'all been up to, folks? You know, I ain't seen y'all in a minute, man. Like a month. It's been like a month since I seen my people, man. You know? And I'm not fully set up yet. My mics, like right now, I'm just running a straight mic through the computer. I have 2 of my screens set up, but I don't have my whole shit set up just yet. Because I'm where I'm at now, I don't even think I'm gonna stay here. I think I'm gonna set the studio up somewhere else, you know, because this house is different than the other house. and it's got different kind of acoustics and shit. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's a little more echoey in this room. So I think I'm gonna move the shit somewhere else. I think I want to open it up a little bit. I don't know if I want to have the placard behind me anymore. I kind of got used to that, having that shit behind me. But I think I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll do like open something in the den or something like that. I don't know yet, man. You know, all I know is I want to, oh, good look, brother Kenny, on that super chat, man. Good look, brother. So, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but next week we're gonna get right, y'all. All right. And some programming notes tomorrow. I'm gonna have Perfectabilis up here. You brothers who find yourselves down at Brother Fantastics and at Brother Obsidians, y'all know who Brother Perfectabilis is, because tomorrow, because y'all know that old X is always talking about so Perfectibill is gonna come through tomorrow. He gonna come through tomorrow, and we're gonna be going in because he's gonna tell his story with his mother. So we're gonna be talking a little something. I think the show's gonna be called Mama Mia Culpa with Perfectibillis. So stay tuned for Perfectibillis tomorrow with the Mama Mia Culpa, and of course these old mamas, mama. Y'all see, I don't. y'all see, I don't got all my shit set up, but I made sure I got those triggers set up. Yeah, man, brother SKC, man. You know, man, it's the end of the year. You know what that is, man. It's time to do all that tax shit, man. You know, I got all that shit coming up too, man. So I feel your pain, man. The end of the year is a bitch, you know, because I know you a boss yourself. So I know you you got to get right on the taxes shit, boy. And, man, I'm not looking forward to that shit at all, man. Just especially now with the move, a lot of my records and shit is all over the place. You know, I got them in like boxes and shit like that, so I got to sort through a lot of shit. It's crazy, but we're gonna get right. I think my brother Cory's in the house. Hold on, y'all. Brother Haywood,
I'm here, man. What's going on?
what's good with it, man?
What's good, man? I'm in the dark right now.
Okay,
Otherwise, I flipped the camera on myself, but I can't find the. I'm in, of unfamiliar territory, so I'm trying to find my way up in here.
okay.
But it's all good. It's all good. I'm
Yeah,
here.
man. It's been a while, brother. It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Absolutely. How you been?
Ah, man, crazy. We just got a new house. Been here like a week or two, still buried to my eyeballs in boxes and shit. Can't find half my shit. You know, that kind of shit. You know, when you move, all the shit that you used to use every day, you can't find. But you
Right.
stumble on shit that you lost 6 months ago. You're like, oh shit, there that is. Been looking for that for like 6 months.
Absolutely.
I got that going
Absolutely.
on right now.
I
Yeah,
know
that's
the
what I
feeling.
got going on right now. But for those of you who don't know, as a matter of fact, I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead and tell them who you are, Brother Haywood, before we start to chop it up for the folks who don't know you.
Man, I am a writer, a journalist. I am an observer of all things black in this country and around the world. That is what I am. In fact, I like to call myself a niggalosopher. That may offend some people, but hey, it is what it is. And I specialize. I'm an expert on Negro foolishness and Negro excellence. I acknowledge both. You know what I'm saying? So I can identify what Chris Rock describes as black folk and niggas. I have a radar for both. That's what I am in a nutshell.
Yeah, there it is. I was telling everybody, I said, shit, man, Cory been my boy for quite some time, boy. He been coming around me ever since I worked in the radio booth and shit. And I told him, I said, you know, he's an author, writer, blogger, provocateur, You know, and what you just said? You a nigga what?
I call a niggalosopher. That's what I
Niggalosopher.
call myself. Absolutely.
I forgot to put that in the description box. So what's on the what's on the hot plate for you, man, brother Haywood, lately?
Well, you know what, man?
What you
I've been
got on?
doing. I've been working a lot because you know, a man has to pay the bills. That is my primary focus has been, and as you know, I'm a personal trainer as well. So a lot of my attention has been on my private business, working with my clients, making my money that way. But once the new year hits, man, I fully intend again to start writing more often, blogging more often, and doing things like this with you more often, man. You know, let my voice be heard. So that's the plan for next year.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I figured I would come in, my first show in December. Because like I said, I've been out of the loop for about 3 weeks, damn near a month. I said I come back with my man, brother Haywood, since it's been so long, man,
Oh, oh
since we
yeah,
chopped it up, brother. You
absolutely.
know.
Happy about it.
Um, Let me ask you, because I know you stay on top of this kind of stuff. So let me ask you about, have you heard about the April Mason thing, where her cousin was allegedly almost abducted, not even abducted, allegedly abducted. She came on YouTube and told everybody, y'all black dudes, y'all need to start protecting us. Y'all good black men need to start protecting us because my cousin almost got abducted and all this kind of nonsense. Come to find out, shit was a lie. The cousin had made it all up, and the police locked her up for filing a false report. Have you heard of this, brother Haywood?
No, no, I haven't.
Oh, boy, I'm glad you didn't, boy, because you'd have been all over this one. that's
No,
been
man.
that's kind of been circling in media a little bit. I don't think April Mason, Lady Mason, I don't think she knew what she was kind of coming up against when she says that kind of shit, because of the type of brothers that are on media now. Brothers are people think that I'm rough, brother Haywood. I mean, you got brothers out there, boy, who, they got razor blades, boy, for tongues, and Excalibur. They got Excalibur tongue, boy. They decapitate people, boy, with them tongues. They sort of like you, man. So, boy, they
Almost.
they've been hit. They've been hitting her with Excalibur, boy. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah.
you, boy, hardcore too. I'm talking hardcore.
Uh,
So,
it's funny
wow.
because there is a woman, and her name escapes me. Oh no, it doesn't. Amanda Seals, I think her name is. You familiar
I
with
heard the
her?
name. I heard the
Okay,
name. Yes, yes.
comedian. She has well, a featured role on Issa Rae's show on HBO, Insecure. And she
Mm-hmm.
just came out with, not just came out with, but not too long ago, she came out with her own comedy special on HBO. Really talented sister, man. Very smart. But, you know, even she, I watched a video maybe a little earlier this year of her accusing black men of um, looking the other way when black women
Mm-hmm.
are mistreated by society. And I'm like, man, I don't want to hear all that shit. First of all, let's get this straight. Black women are treated better in this country than black men, period. Point blank, period.
I
In
agree.
fact, if you can look at it from a few different perspectives, let's just talk about how black women are treated in the corporate world, how many opportunities they're given by their white superiors simply because they are black women and they're less threatening than black men, right? Let's look at how women in general are treated in this country and around the world with this new Me Too movement phenomenon and the feminism uh, movement as well. You know, women in this country, black, white, or green, in my opinion, uh, they are shrouded in this sort of protection, right? Um, they're you know they're almost impervious to criticism to some degree. They are treated with such I would say, care by men around the world who are afraid to be criticized or to be demonized for being misogynist, for being woman haters. And because of that, I think women really they are benefiting and from a level of protection and appreciation and reverence in this country that no other generation has ever experienced. So when a black woman says, "Oh well, we're not protected by black men. We're ignored. We're mistreated." It's like, what in what country? Where? Now, if you want to narrow it down to the way they're treated in their own communities, well, let's talk about it. Yeah, black men, the certain type of black man, yeah, we tend to treat women very, very poorly. The Pookies and the Ray Rays of the world, absolutely. They'll slap you up, they'll impregnate you, and then abandon you and the kid. You know what I'm saying? They'll have you on the corner selling your body in sub-zero temperatures in Chicago and New York. Absolutely.
How you on the whole stroll?
Exactly. But black men, there are more good black men than bad, right? I can confidently say that. And most of us will step up and defend a black woman if we think it's necessary. And you have several examples of that. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. And then when you mentioned this woman was lying about the whole thing, that's just another example of women now using their privilege and taking advantage of the moment, right? Taking advantage of the climate in this country that obviously benefits women so that they can make certain accusations um, without there being evidence to substantiate what they're saying. They can point the finger at a man, they can point the finger at an organization, they can point the finger, at an institution and say, well, you know, I was discriminated against because I'm a woman. And we're living in an age now where if she says something like that, right, automatically we'll all believe her because she's a woman. That's how it goes, right? In today's time. So I don't understand how a black woman, white woman, any woman could possibly complain about how, they're treated like second class citizens or somehow they're not being supported by their own kind or by, men of their own race. Total bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, a woman can, I mean, let's be clear. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, a woman can say you did something to her 15 years ago and you can lose everything, man. You can lose your career, you can lose, your credibility, your reputation. I mean, you could build a career over the course of 20 years, and some woman can say, "Hey, he felt my ass in 2002. You're done." You're done just because she said that. I mean, you don't even have to say that you sexually, that you raped her per se. All she got to do is say, "Oh, he hugged me inappropriately in 1999." And all those 20 years that you spent building this career since then, gone,
Exactly.
gone just from that.
Exactly.
So I'm,
I mean, if anything, uh, any woman under 25, or rather, let me change that. If you're a woman, I'd say under the age of maybe 45 or 50, come on, man. I don't want to hear you talking about gender inequality. I don't want to hear you talking about, how poorly women are treated. Women today are treated far better than their mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers. Man, back in the early 1900s, a woman would get slapped because the nigga's dinner was cold. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Husband walking to the house, "Where's my dinner, woman?" "Wow, it's cold. Go heat it up."
yeah,
They get slapped, they get abused for some of the most trivial things, man. Abused, cheated on, taken advantage of. I mean, if you compare the way women were treated, I would say even 25 years ago, right? When um, even the most popular celebrities and public figures, I would say throughout the 90s and the 80s and decades prior, they were usually viewed as objects of sexual gratification, right? They were eye candy. No one took women seriously, really, in the 60s and 70s. They were exploited and objectified in ways that women today would never allow, right? So when you look at today's woman and how far they have come, and yet they're still complaining, my question is, well, what do you want? What more could men possibly give you to make you feel equal in this country, to make you feel like you aren't a victim? I want to know. Give me a list and we'll talk about it. Because from my vantage point, It's men who need protection now, not women.
Yeah, especially from the legal system. And
Exactly.
back in the day, you talk about them being slapped. I mean, it used to be a thing called the rule of thumb, and the rule of thumb was any stick that was less than the width of your thumb, it was legal to beat your woman with it. It was called the rule of thumb. Look it up, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm not making that shit up. It was called the rule of thumb, and any stick the width of your thumb or less, it was legal for you to whoop that ass with it, man. No shit. Now, I
Yeah,
mean, that was a long time ago, but that's a reality, man. You could beat them
exactly.
with a stick, you know, the width of your thumb.
Domestic abuse was commonplace in all households. You know what I'm saying? Black, white, didn't matter. Domestic abuse was a thing. And in most cases, it was widely ignored. Nowadays, a woman could slap you in your own home and call the police, and they would take your black ass to jail.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like
She
two
could be
different
living.
realities to me.
Yeah, she could be living in your crib, man, and get an order of protection, and you can't even come back to your own shit.
Can't even come back to your own shit. Come on, man. You mentioned the legal system. I mean, think about this, man. You know, we talk about child custody. Who gets the advantage when it comes to that? Women, right? When we talk about marriage or divorce, rather, and alimony and all of that, who's coming out of pocket? Men. Who's benefiting? Women. I'm sorry, financially, right, economically, when it comes to the legal system in general, even politically, I think that women right now, man, are they hold all the cards, right? The power is in their hands, and I can say that it's a long time coming. Perhaps the chickens are coming home to roost because yes, again, in back in the day, in prior decades, men treated women horrifically, right? So perhaps we're living in an age where women can finally make up some ground, um, and I'm all for that. But to say that in 2019, going to 2020, that women are treated like second class citizens, in this country, I think is ridiculous. I think I think the power, um, struggle is over.
Hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, I mean they ain't suffering like that, man. I mean, I ain't even trying to hear that shit, man.
No,
I mean, they can do. I mean, we live in the Queen City, man, and we find ourselves a lot of places where it's a lot of white folks and shit at. And my wife walk into the store and they walk up to her and they be like, "Hi, how you doing? Hello." They don't pay her ass no mind. I walk in that motherfucking store, I look up, man, I got motherfuckers following me and all this kind of bullshit. Like, they don't pay no attention to her. I told her, I said, shit, you can go in there and steal everything because shit, they be following my ass around in there. You know what I'm saying? They following me. I could be the distraction. You could clean out the whole store because they
absolutely,
not even paying goddamn mind and shit. Shit.
absolutely. It's because black men we're still a threat. Let's be real. We're still a threat. Most people still think that we're a bunch of criminals and low lives, degenerates. And because of that, yeah, you walk into a grocery store. I walked into a grocery store today, to buy a box of cereal, and I swear to you, there was a man sweeping in a completely different aisle, and he wasn't finished. Okay, he had a lot more to do. This old white man pretended like he was stocking shelves in the aisle that I was in.
Hmm.
Dropped his broom and rushed to my aisle to pretend like he was making sure that everything was in proper order. No, he had his eyes on me the whole time. What you think I'm gonna do, bro? You think I'm gonna steal a box of Cheerios? Is that what you think I'm coming in here to do? Really, to steal from Ralph's? And it's ridiculous. Like it's you would think that after, and I don't like to mention Barack Obama because it's kind of cliche, but you know, black men, we've done amazing, amazing things over the years, right? We've had a black president most recently, right, who did an amazing job for the most part, right? Wasn't great, wasn't always great, but overall did an amazing job. You would think that, black men, our status would have gone up to some degree in this country. You know what I'm saying? Like white people say, you know what? Them niggas ain't so bad. You would think we would have reached that point by now, but no, it's the same. still getting our ass whipped
Mm-hmm.
by the police, still getting passed over for jobs, by our white male counterparts and by black women these days as well, still being followed at Ralph's and at Old Navy. Nigga, you think I'm about to steal some corduroys and some cargo pants? For real? This is the kind of shit, man, that I'm sorry. It prevents me from being empathetic or sympathetic or understanding when a black woman hops on a soapbox and goes on complaining about how poorly she's treated in the world. It's like, well, do you have eyes? How what
Yeah.
if the world is hard for you? If life is hard for black women in this country, then it has to be at least 3 or 4 times as hard for black men. But you don't
Yeah.
hear black women on social media, YouTube, or tweeting some things or on Instagram or whatever. You never hear them, um, you know, talking about how hard or how difficult it is to be a black man in America. They're always perpetuating their own victimhood. And to me, it seems like they're trying to steal any amount of attention from us because it's like we have black men who we want to be heard as well. We have grievances, we have concerns, we have fears, we have complaints. We want our voices to be heard too, but it's like if our voices are competing or clashing with black women, then how are we ever going to fully be heard? You know what I'm saying? And obviously the media would prefer to shine the light to give that microphone to a black woman as opposed to a black man because a black woman is less threatening. So if you're being given a platform, right? If the powers that be, white men, are less threatened by you, black women, and they're giving you a platform to air out your grievances, to disseminate your feelings, right? While ignoring black men, then how can you look us in the face and say that you're treated worse than we are? That's bullshit.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I mean, if anything, as far as I can't really say, within black society, because black society, a lot of it's like another world in black society, most parts of it. But mainstream, I mean, in the mainstream, I think they're getting treated way better than they were treated, say 15, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, black men, we pretty much being treated the same. I guess that's why we have to strive hard, to do the things that we got to do because we pretty much get treated, the same, depending on what geographical location we're in, we get kind of treated the same. Because I mean, I grew up in a very prejudiced place. Okay. I grew up in a very prejudiced sector of New York. I mean, I'm talking, Rodney King's type shit before the Rodney King tape came out. I saw that shit like 10, 15 times before the Rodney King tape came out. So I saw that kind of shit growing up as a young man. Very prejudiced, very racist, the whole town, police force, schools, every goddamn thing. But I see hints of that shit in my travels now. I mean, I'm not seeing it every day. I'm not going to say that, but I still see hints of it. Like I said, I mean, I go with my wife to a store, man. I drop her off at the door and I go park the car. I mean, I see her walking around in there. They're not paying her no mind because sometimes I stand outside, and I just look in the window just to see what's going on. And she's just walking around in there. They're not paying her no mind. Soon as I goddamn walk in there, they converge on my ass like, "Oh, can I help you? Can I help you?" And I mean, one day we were in I'm trying to think where we were. We were in I think Staples or Office Depot. We went in there to get some copy paper and toner and shit. And when people, you walk into Staples and they just fucking collapse on you, asking you, can they help you? Like, and I'm not one to blame the white man, and that's not even really my style. But I can understand them doing that if I gave them cause to do that. But I don't think just because I'm a 6'2" black man, okay, I should be getting that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because there's nothing inside of Staples that I can't buy with the money in my pocket. All right. And whatever I ain't got, my woman got. You understand? She'll throw me $50 if I'm short, whatever it is in there. So I mean, you collapse it on me in freaking Staples, like I'm really. What am I gonna steal? A pack of goddamn copy paper? You know, to the HP high quality copy paper. It's not like there's nothing in there for me to steal. So you know that shit kind of gets my goat, man, because you know you can tell when people are kind of focusing on you, just like you can tell when they're not. You know what I'm saying? You can tell. You can tell. So
Absolutely, you can tell, man. I look, and here's the funny thing: it doesn't matter how you dress. You can walk in there in a full three-piece suit, nigga. I can walk into Target right now wearing a tuxedo, and they still would fucking converge on my ass. You know what I'm saying?
you know, motherfuckers follow you. They
They would
following
still
you
follow
inside
me.
of following you inside of Family Dollar and shit. Like, oh, this is a
Absolutely.
dollar. This is a dollar store. I could probably buy everything in this motherfucker.
I can buy the store right now with $10. I can buy the whole store.
I can buy everything in this motherfucker with $20.
You know,
Motherfuckers
so
watching
they're,
you and
they're
shit.
following they're following the and I think I don't know what movie it was, man. It might have been it was one of the Wayans films from the Wayans family. It could have been what's that movie they did about dang man. It was a spoof on another movie. Something about South Central. Don't you know what I'm talking about? What was the title of that
Oh yeah,
film?
don't drink your juice while something in the hood or some shit
Something in
like
the
that.
hood, something like that, man. It was
Don't
funny.
drink your juice in South Central or something like that in the
Something like
hood.
that. And it was funny because in one of the scenes, I believe it was this movie where, you know, so the store clerk was following this black man, you know. Meanwhile, all of their shit was being stolen by this white woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that it's probably happened a time or two. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It might be
Hell
happening
yeah.
right now as we speak. All I'm saying, and again, I'm not sitting here, you know, pretending like niggas don't steal. Okay, let's make this transparently clear. There is a reason why this stereotype exists, right? It's because niggas do steal. However,
Hmm.
for a black man to walk into any establishment and feel uncomfortable because the employees are staring at him, following him from the time he enters to the time he leaves, that shit is unacceptable. And you're
Yeah, it
right,
is.
I don't think
It
black
is.
women experience that. They don't.
Nope. Nope.
So again, when we talk about who's really discriminated against, right? When we talk about who really needs more protection, right? Who really needs for someone to step up in our defense, I think it's black men who need black women to step up and say, hey, you know what? We're with you. We support you. We love you. We're going to stand by you no matter what. Because at the end of the day, in America, whether you are a black man or a black woman, you still a nigga, and that ain't gonna
Hmm.
ever change. So it
Nope.
would behoove black men and black women to work together. You know what I'm saying? In tandem, in concert, to collaborate on some shit instead of tearing each other down on social media. And it seems like that's something we do best. We're constantly taking shots at each other while everyone else is laughing at us from the outside. Like, look at these niggers still fighting.
Well, you know why we do that shit, right? We do that shit because number one, it gets views. Number two, it's entertaining. You know, number three, I mean, it seems like it's a topic. It seems like it's a topic that gets everybody's interest. Everybody's everybody's interested in black men talking shit about black women, and everybody's interested in black women talking shit about black men. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, we do it here, but we don't do a lot of it. I mean, me, I'm more into talking about these old mamas more than anything else, you know, because
Hmm.
I think they do a horrible job with the kids. You know, the other chicks, you know, I don't really care, you know, until, you know, if they say some bullshit about black men, you know, I might pay attention a little bit, but for the most part, you know, I kind of shy away from that. Um, I'm more into speaking on the effects on the innocence. You know, as long as women aren't doing things to the innocence of us, because see, I believe this is who I believe is the most unprotected in Black society. I believe the most unprotected in Black society are Black children, not
Mm.
Black women. Black children are the most unprotected, and I've got some heat over that. But no one can dispute it, man. Just look at the numbers, man. Look at the numbers of the abuse of young girls and young boys, the sexual abuse. Look at the education, or should I say the lack thereof. I mean, look at all that stuff. I mean, no one can deny that Black children are the most unprotected people, man. I mean, they Black children go through so much shit, okay? Especially the ones who don't have steady access to their father. Forget about it, man. A lot of those kids, man, they're doomed. They are
Exactly.
freaking doomed, man.
Let
I'm
me give you let
talking
me give you an
seriously
example here,
doomed.
right? We you know who Future is, right? The rapper. You
Hmm.
familiar with him, right? His work, Future. Okay.
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
Future has 7 kids by 7 different women, 7 baby mamas, right? So he is constantly dragged on social media for being a quote unquote thought, right? For being an unfit parent, an absentee father, a no good, low life, deadbeat to his children. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I think he's in a few custody cases right now with women who are accusing him of being absent in the lives of his children, and probably behind on a few child support payments, right? So he's constantly dragged about all of
Mm.
these things. But what I say is, well, okay, he does have 7 baby mamas, and that's not a good look. But then again, why aren't we looking at the 7 women who were fucking with this nigga?
I mean, cause
I'll
this
give
is
the
my
first
thing.
two a break. We'll give the first two a break. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they thought he was a good guy. Like, oh, well, he's a rapper and entertainer, but he'll be loyal and faithful to me. Maybe they
Yeah,
were naive enough to think that. But what about the other 5? Y'all
yeah,
didn't know he was like this?
yeah.
And yet you
I
still
mean,
procreated with this man. And this, it points to a much larger issue. You have
mhm.
women, uh, they're having babies by men who they know won't stick around. We've talked
Yep.
about this before, and it continues. And who suffers? The children. Because when the children are born, they can't decide who their mama is or who their daddy is. They just kind of got to roll with what they got.
Yeah,
But
they're
if a
innocent,
woman is
man.
constantly giving herself to ain't shit niggas, right, and expecting for these niggas to stick around, it's going to perpetuate a cycle of broken homes and of children who don't have the support of 2 parents. That is what's happening. And so, yes, of course, you have men out there who ain't shit, but let's talk about these women who consciously choose the wrong niggas to fuck with. And
Yeah,
then you get mad when he doesn't stick around. This is symptomatic of our community exclusively,
yeah. I
and the
mean,
children suffer. So I
I
totally
could.
agree with you.
I mean, if you're baby mama number 5 or baby mama number 4 or baby mama number 6 or number 7, you failed. I mean, you failed. I mean, it
Exactly.
because there's brothers out there, and I know everybody's done heard the stories, man. There's brothers out there, man, who got 20 baby mamas, 30 baby mamas, 40 baby mamas. How does it feel to be baby mama number 35? I mean, how does that feel? Like your baby mama number 35. Number 35? Because see, if he got 40 baby mamas, there's a baby mama 35, there's a baby mama 27, there's a baby mama number 19, there's a baby mama 38. I mean, come on. I mean, there's no way you could be feeling good about yourself when you're some dude's 35th baby mama. Like, really? I mean, there's no way you can have any confidence about yourself. I think it's hard to recover from that kind of shit. Just as hard as it is for the brother. Cause I don't know what dude is thinking with 40 baby mamas. Like
Exactly.
you have you have absolutely no control over your dick, your penis. You must lay down in the bed. You must lay down at night, and your penis escapes. He escapes when you go to sleep and just goes and screws holes. And when you wake up, the next morning, he just back. He just back covered with pussy juice and shit. I mean, how the hell do you get?
And the funny
How do
thing
you
is,
get
bro,
40 baby mamas?
you would
How does
think we're exaggerating, but there are some cases out there, man, where niggas do got 15, 20 baby mamas, man.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you
Enough
that
women who look, you could play nigga bingo.
I'm telling you,
20 to 25
their
baby mamas.
penises. I'm telling you, their penises detach at night and escape and go get some ass while they sleep, and then just come back. I
It's
mean, cause
insane.
let me tell you something. I got 4 kids by one woman, and let me tell you something. They were all little at the same time. And me and that woman, we parented them together. And let me tell you something, boy, it was rough. And then, as they start to grow, it was even rougher, taking care of them and all that kind of shit. So, I mean, look, I couldn't imagine supporting shit. Why you think I only had 4? She wanted more. She wanted 6. Hell no. 4 is it, woman. That's all I got in my penis. It's 4. That's all I had in my penis was 4. She wanted 6. I couldn't imagine having 10, 12. The man, listen, man, you would be broke up until the day your ass died if
Oh
you
yeah.
got 30 and 40 kids. Man, you kidding me?
Insane. And the
Oh,
funny thing is,
that.
in most cases, you know, 4 is modest compared to some of these women who got 8,
Yeah,
9,
man.
10. And the funny thing is, in many cases, these women don't have a pot to piss in or a penny to their name.
Yeah, just
Now,
broke.
how are you broke with 6, 7, 8 kids? What sense does
Just,
that make? Somehow
yeah.
it'd be the brokest niggas who procreate the most.
Yeah. That I don't get. I mean, I've always I've always been of the mind state that, and I say this a lot, and everybody who listens to me know what I'm going to say. If you're a broke ass girl and you're a broke ass guy, and y'all get together and have a baby, y'all know what y'all just did? Y'all just created another broke ass person. Now, instead of 2 broke people, now there's 3. Okay. Now there's just 3. Now there's 3 broke people. So now you're not dividing the broke, you're not dividing the broke humble pie into 2. Now you divide it into 3. So it's like, because I know when I had my first kid, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for my first kid. My first kid was straight oops, baby. You know, but after him, after my first son, man, listen, I got really, really conscious about the penis. And I was with one woman. Like I said, I mean, we had, 4 kids, and she wanted 6. I mean, after my last daughter, my youngest daughter, once she got to be like almost 2, she was like, "Oh, I want another baby." I was like, "Well, you better find another penis woman, because all I had in mind, all I had in mind was 4. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
all I could pump out for you, girl. That's all I got.
that's
You know, I
enough.
couldn't
That's
I
enough.
couldn't imagine having 10 kids, man. To hell, I wouldn't have been able to afford that shit, brother Haywood. Shit,
Exactly.
man.
You look at it
Oh
geographically, man.
man.
If you're living in the South, you may be able to get away with that shit. But if you
Yeah,
live
man.
in Southern California, I mean, I live in LA. I couldn't imagine having more than 2 in Los Angeles. I mean, with the cost of living being just astronomically high, for anyone to bring 4, 5, 6, 7 kids into the world and not have the means to provide for them is selfish and dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
Plain and simple. And
yeah. Plus,
unfortunately, man, this appears to be an epidemic that continues to ravish the black community. And I'm holding on to hope, man, that he will get it right. But the older I get, the more cynical I become. I'll tell you that.
Well, we have this thing, and I've heard brothers say it, and I disagree with it. They think that we should be having more kids, procreate, procreate, procreate. That's what you hear people say, because the black folks' numbers are dwindling down and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, what a lot of them fail to mention is that, having a child isn't free, man. Taking care of a child isn't free. I mean, I had my kids when I was a young guy. They're all adults now. I mean, my youngest is 21. So, I mean, I'm going to be 51 years old this year and I'm free. I'm free, man. I ain't got my kids don't live with me. They all grown and doing their own shit, and married and shit, and got their families and all that kind of bullshit. And they gave me, I got 5 grandchildren, shit like that. The little kids I have around me now, guess what? I love having them around me, but guess what? When I get tired of their ass, I can give them the hell back. Like, come get this Negro. Yeah, come get him. Yeah, so, I'm free. I mean, if I would have had more kids, I imagine if my youngest kid, if she wasn't my last, but my first, and I had 4, I'd still have like teenagers in the fucking house right now.
Yep.
I have teenagers in here. Man, at this age, I couldn't deal with no teenage motherfucker. I'd be done killed their asses up in here.
Well, absolutely. Especially the
Yeah,
way they act now, man.
yeah, I couldn't deal with teenagers in 2019, man. No fucking way, man.
No, not at all.
Little 14, 15-year-old hot ass girl or some 14, 15-year-old damn wannabe thug freaking dude trying to challenge me in my house and I had to freaking choke his ass out. No, no, I couldn't deal with that shit, man. I'm so glad they're adults and the fuck out of here. I don't know what to do. Because now I get to do all the shit I want to do. The shit I couldn't do when I was younger, when I had all of them. I don't have those hangups now. I mean, now I do all the shit I want to do now. I mean, go where I want to go, pick up, me and my wife, should we take off drive to New York? We take off drive, out west, we can just do whatever we want now. We don't even tell them we leaving. Shit, they come looking for us at the house be locked up dark and shit. They be called, where y'all at? Somewhere where y'all ain't. I love it.
And that's how it should be, man. That's how it should be. But unfortunately, there are a lot of black families who lack, financial and spiritual awareness, right?
Yeah.
Who lack self-awareness, and they have to rely on each other just to survive. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You got 3-4 generations living in one house because they can't afford to leave the nest.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. When you got 3 and 4 generations up in the crib, man, that's because unless you got a big old gigantic crib, if it's 3-4 generations and y'all in 2-bedroom, that's some bullshit.
It's some bullshit. And it's unfortunate, man. That it's this way, but that's what it is. And once again, we got to go back to, and I don't want to point fingers, and question who's responsible, But even then, I'm on Facebook from time to time, and there are occasions when I see posts from black women accusing black men of being poor leaders. Well, where y'all at? Y'all leading us in the darkness. It's like, what the fuck? How aren't you grown? You're an adult. What the fuck are you talking about? We're leading you into darkness. Your grown ass laid down with a nigga with no job, who had 2 strikes already. It was you who did that.
Yeah, don't be having babies with brothers that got 2 strikes already. Goddamn. Come on now. Because he got 2, he gonna get a third one. A third one's a third one's coming.
He's gonna get 3. A third one's coming. If he doesn't get 3, then really he's inconsistent and you shouldn't be with him anyway.
taking the baby up there to visit him in prison and shit, and fucking. Well, they got these new things now at the prisons. They got this new shit where they like kind of Skype. It's like a Skype kind of shit where they can actually Skype the kid. I guess you gotta, if you're in good behavior in that motherfucker, you can't be in there fucking up. If you're on good behavior, you get the Skype, to the crib and shit from time to time. So it's like, it's different now. Jails are trying to catch up with the rest of technology. But yeah, you'll be taking a little tyke, to the prison and shit, to see his old man and have to tell him these stories about how his old man, made these mistakes and, and all that kind of bullshit. And he's never coming home because he made like 2 other mistakes before that. And this mistake number 3 gonna have his ass in jail for the next 50 years and shit. So, I mean, you don't want to be doing that shit. You don't want to be doing
that. And then
yeah,
what they're saying is, well, you know what? We've been loyal to black men for too long. And so now it's time for us to spread our wings and to test the waters. We're going to expand our horizons, right? And so now, they are considering dating outside the race. After all these years of being faithful to us, black men, no good niggas, they're like, you know what? We're tired of this. We're tired of being a pillar for you all. Now it's time for us to do what we want to do. And so apparently, one thing on that list is fucking white men. Now look, I don't think black women understand the psychology of white men, right? They're not fucking with you either. What? First of all, look, I've observed white men and who they choose to date. If a white man is dating a black woman, in many cases, she is a 10. A white man ain't just gonna go for no regular black woman. What's the point? He can date a white girl. If he's going to date a black woman and shame his family, she has to be the cream of the crop. So if you're a black woman, if you stock shelves at Walmart, 150 pounds overweight, what type of white man do you think you're about to get?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. He doesn't want you. I'm sorry.
Man. I see out here in the Queen City, because 2/3 of my business is white people. What I do, I'm a mechanical engineer. I work on power equipment. That, brother Haywood. I work on, bulldozers and lawn equipment and, skid steers and shit like that. So most of my business is white folks. And, I have a mobile service where, I go to certain place, contract work and shit like that. So I'm around white folks a lot. And I see white dudes, I see a handful. I see a handful of white dudes with black women, but they don't be the 250 pounders with 3 little freaking illegitimate kids running behind them. I mean, the white dudes that I see with black women, shit, man, them black women be nice looking, fine ass black.
Exactly. Cream of the crop, man.
Man, it don't be the 300 pounders that I be seeing. These white boys. Maybe I just see the wrong kind of white boys or something. But the white boys I see with black chicks, them chicks be nice. They be slim, in shape, their own hair, all that kind of shit. So, I don't know about the baby mama with 7 kids talking about, white men wanna. I think that's kind of a leap right there. That's a leap.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a leap. It's a Michael Jordan size.
That's a leap.
And it's like, yo, they don't want you. Okay, sweetheart. You should stick with us. Okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead and stick with us.
Yeah.
But
see me, I don't care. I don't care if black women want to be with a white man, go right ahead. I have 2 adult daughters. Okay. Now, one of my daughters is married. Okay. She's married. She has 2 children, but she's with a black man. If she decided to be with a white man, I think I would have been upset like a motherfucker. But I think I would have, she's an adult. Like, okay, now I'm glad she married a brother, and had kids with him. I'm glad of that. But my other daughter, she's not married yet. She don't have no kids. She's not married. She's a nurse. She's no children or nothing. And, she says that she's open, to, she's like, oh, dad, I may date a white guy. What do you think about that? I said, well, if it had been 10, 15 years ago, I would have told you don't do it. But, I mean, because she's my oldest daughter's 28. So I told her, whatever make you happy, baby. I mean, whatever make you happy. But I also told her the truth. I'm like, now, white boys don't go for any old kind of black chick. They just don't. They know
Very
they
true.
now. I mean, if you think you fit the bill, that's on you. I said, but you know, don't be surprised if you don't. I also told her that because she said that, oh, dad, I would date somebody else, I would date a white guy or, a Hispanic guy or, I'm like, well, if that's what you want to do, but just beware that, you have to spit a certain mold, baby. You have to fit a certain mold,
You
and
got
you
to.
may not, fit
And
this
here's my
shit.
thing is I'm not tripping on look, I'm not tripping on interracial dating, interracial marriage. It's all good, right? Love who you love. What I do not support is when black women or black men, right? When they consciously date outside of their race because they feel like their own people aren't good enough.
Mm,
That's what I do not support. You know what I'm saying? If it comes from a place of anger or resentment or self hate, I can't get with that. Now, if you happen to meet
mm.
someone and you fall in love, cool.
Yeah, it is what
That's
it
great.
is.
It is
It
what
is
it
what it
is.
is. It
But
is
I
what it
see too
is.
often black men and women um, tearing each other down while lifting up, the quote unquote uh, white male or female, you know, sort of goddess or god. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm,
it's almost as if, and it's still, of course, it's rooted in slavery, right? It stems from that how we've been conditioned to view whites as superior, and perhaps that there's some residue still left from that even now in 2019, and it needs to be eradicated. And the funny thing is, I think it's being programmed into black women even now by the powers that be in the media. If you watch TV, I've seen so many commercials featuring a white man and a black woman pretending to be a couple.
he said,
Would you
pretending to
ever
be a
see a black
couple.
man and a white woman in these commercials ever?
Yeah, that's been the new thing, man. It's been the new thing that I've been seeing. Maybe it's because of where I'm at, the area that I'm in. Um, I've been seeing a lot of that shit on television. Where you have like, she's usually a real high yellow black chick too. She's a
Yep,
high yellow black chick, usually with curly hair and shit. And
yep.
the white man is the husband, and they have the little, mulatto kids and shit. Which is fine by me because I'm the type of person where when I see that kind of shit, I know they do it for a reason, but that kind of shit just kind of rolls off of me because see, I don't really have any skin in that game. So it's like, whatever, like I told my daughter, like, my daughter said, she would entertain, maybe dating another kind of guy. And I didn't try to dissuade her from it. I probably would have did it like 10 years ago. But, now, because my sons, I tell everybody knows this about me. Both of my sons are married to Hispanic women, man, to Latino women. Both of my sons are, and I have, my grandchildren are half Hispanic, three of them anyway, out of the five. I mean, my daughter, her husband's black, but my sons, both of their wives are Hispanic, they're Latinos and shit. So I got like three half Hispanic grandchildren. And it used to bother me years ago. I ain't even gonna lie. I took issue with it. I told my sons, I was like, look here, man, you sure you want to do this, all that kind of shit. But as I grew older and I started to come around and shit, you know, and it's not like they're the white, they're not the white Latinos and shit, they're like caramel colored and shit.
Mm.
So, I was like, okay, I guess it's all right. but But I tell everybody, I love my grandbabies, man. They named after me. I mean, they got my last name. My
Right.
grandson is named after me, man. He has my name. So, I love my grandbabies to death, man. I don't give a shit who their mama is, man. I don't care about that shit, man. That shit don't even bother me anymore. That shit bothers you when you're younger. When you get to be a man my age, man, 50-year-old man, you don't care about that shit, man.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
no,
they
not at
part
all.
of my family, man. They come to spring from my loins, man. They carry my name, so I don't care about that shit. I really don't. You know.
And yeah, I again, I don't either. In fact, most of my friends have dated outside of their race. Currently, I'm dating a woman who, to the naked eye, may appear to be white. She's actually
Oh
African American.
shit, brother Haywood, you a
Oh,
swirler, man?
here's the thing, though. Here's the
Is my
thing.
little bro a swirler?
She's she's Tunisian, right? So that's North Africa. They tend to be lighter
Okay,
over there. So
okay,
if you saw her,
okay.
you'd be like, "Hold on, brother." But nah, she's technically one of us, technically. Um,
Technically,
but you know, like again, as I've gotten older, I've come to the same realizations you have. And once again, you can't help who you fall for, right, or who you
that's
like.
true. It's true.
But I think the mentality is what's most important, right? And if you view your own people as inferior as or less than, to me, that is the highest form of betrayal, man. Cultural
Mm,
betrayal.
okay, okay. I hear that, man. I do. You know, I
You know,
I believe people should. I believe people should do what makes them happy. Myself. I mean, if someone, they could be from Mars. If you in love with this Martian and y'all get along, and you got these half human, half Martian babies and shit. If y'all happy, I'm happy. God damn it. I'm happy if y'all are happy. God damn it. But we've been joined by my man Supreme. What's good, brother Supreme?
Man, what's going on? And I'm just sitting there listening to Cory. It's for the first time. It's my first time hearing him, but I find like I listening to a kindred spirit or something, man.
Oh yeah, man. Brother Haywood,
appreciate
man.
that, brother.
He's
Appreciate it.
this is one of the brother Haywood is one of the original usual suspects, boy. Brother Haywood, boy. I've been fucking with brother Haywood ever since I was in, I tell everybody, ever since I was in the booth and shit. And he's a very talented writer, author, provocateur, and nigologist. I think he is. What he
Man,
said?
I take that
Nigologist, he
one too.
called
Yeah.
it sounds
himself.
it sounds
He's one of those.
like I'm following after his footsteps then, because I mean that's what I am too, a writer. You know how I get kind of controversial from time to time. But yeah, man, it's a weird time that we live in Black society. I did have a
Yes, it
question
is.
for Mr. Haywood though. Um, a little while ago, you stated the whole thing about um, the Black people that they date out and then they have like this harsh look at Black people.
Mhm.
And then you stated you thought that it would be kind of like turning it back on the culture.
Right.
So, and I agree, but I'm just asking just a part of the question or your line of thinking. Um, if you were to kind of put in your frame of mind and define what would be Black culture?
That's a great question. And my honest answer is that we don't have culture. We have pieces of what was taken, what was stripped from us many, many years ago. And I think that we are making an effort to create a new culture. But as of now, the only aspects of our culture I can think of that are authentic, that we actually created, that we're responsible for, would be hip hop, Uh, shit, maybe soul food. That's a traditional American cuisine, right? And then there are a few other things here and there, but we don't have an understanding or an awareness or an appreciation of our culture because we don't have one. And we can really expand it and say we don't have an appreciation of our history because many of us don't know it. We weren't introduced to it as children throughout grade school. And then if you go back, to, um, the days of our ancestors, you know, we certainly don't have any knowledge or education regarding that. So what we have now in our community, particularly among the youth, is a generation of people who lack self awareness. And because of that, the dysfunction in our community, um, it remains. And that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
true.
mean, if you were to like take the civil rights era and then you go backwards to um, the days of slavery and so forth. To a certain degree, I can understand uh, black people looking back at those things, looking at accomplishments of um, what those generations were able to do. But coming from about 1970 all the way to 2019, I don't know if you feel this way, but I certainly feel this way. From about 1970, I would say maybe at the latest 75, going down to 2019. There's nothing really that I would want to pass down to the next generation. So far as my kids,
Mhm.
Uh,
I
I
mean, most of
agree.
the stuff that I'm teaching them, it would be things that happened within the previous time period, and culminating with civil rights.
Yeah,
I agree.
I I would have to agree with you, brothers, on that because over the past, say, 20 years ago, a lot of the stuff that goes on in black society is crap. So it's not like you can gather all this great stuff. I mean, the only thing of note that I would say really took place during those years is the deaths of certain icons, the Dick Gregory's, the Dr. Francis Cress Welsings, and people of that nature. Those people were around during those times and they were giving old school wisdom to folks. But even with that, the stuff that they were saying, they had been saying for 30 years. So, it's not like the stuff they were saying was new. Like when I talked to my friend Sister Ali, as a matter of fact, I just spoke to Sister Ali too, y'all, like a few days ago. I'm bringing her on here because y'all know that's my people right there. Um, Even with Sister Ali, when I talked to her, I mean, she's like, people listen to the stuff that I say, and they think these are these real gems. But she said, X, I've been saying this stuff for 35 years. She says
Yeah,
just now that black folks are starting to catch up. They starting to catch up to it. 35 years ago, she was an anomaly. She was like, oh, this crazy person with funny hats on. But now everybody's talking the same shit that these elders were talking 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Now we've decided to catch up. So I agree with you, brothers, that, there's not a lot of shit of note, mixed in there. You have to go back a ways, to find real shit, that's noteworthy. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to go back farther than that to find noteworthy shit to actually, you know, teach your children, especially if you got little children coming up. There's not a lot of shit that's worth telling them about that happened in the last like 20 years or so. I mean, not too much. I'm just saying.
and to kind of
No, I can't.
circle the conversation all the way back to what Cory was saying earlier about these black people that are kind of dating out and then they look back and Some of them may have these really, really harsh opinions. Now, I get what Corey's saying, and at the heart of it, I agree. But at the same time, I kind of question just a little bit because some of those people are stating, well, I have such a harsh opinion because the people that I'm coming across in Black society, they're not celebrating what's pre 1965. Heck, a lot of them don't even know about that stuff. They don't even care about it. What they're celebrating is, and what they're holding as their culture is the dysfunction that we see going on all the time. And that's why some of them are like, nah, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. So, I mean, I understand what Corey's saying so far as, yeah, man, you can't just turn your back completely on all Black culture. But in the time that we live in, when people are focusing on just the present day culture and they're holding that as authentically theirs, like all of this baby mamaism, you got songs and junk that's celebrating that junk, and dudes talking about how many hoes they're gonna do and all this other. It's like, is that really something that you can look on and say, yeah, I want to choose a person from out of that group?
Yeah, it doesn't make a
No,
lot of sense.
it's not. The funny thing is, so my girl came up with an idea because, as you mentioned earlier, I'm a writer, and she came to me with an idea. She said, "Hey, we're reaching, the end of a decade, and perhaps you can write an article about how Black people have progressed over the last 10 years, heading into 2020." So, that's a great idea. And so I did some research, and I came to the conclusion that we ain't really doing shit. Um, but and what I do want to ask you guys both is this, right? So social media has been a godsend for Black people, I think, because we've been able to disseminate, our grievances to the masses, to the entire world, right? So um, issues that have plagued us for decades, we've been able to magnify, so to speak, via social media, right? Through tweeting. And then, of course, the protests and marches, they're being captured on video and spread worldwide. They're going viral. And so people worldwide, they have been forced to listen, right, and to watch as we have articulated, the sort of the I would say the anger and the resentment that we feel because of issues like police brutality, racial inequality, economic inequality. But my question to you guys is this: do you think that the era we're in now, where Black people are using social media, to be activists and to draw attention to these issues, is it coming from a sincere place, or is it more of a trend or a fad? What do you guys think?
I think it's a trend or a fad because I agree with the beginning what you said, brother Haywood. That social media has expanded the world, and it's kind of, we live in global times now as opposed to something else. Everything is global now. You can shoot the shit with somebody that's all the way in freaking Russia. I get it, but I also think it's been a two-sided sword as far as Black people are concerned. Because to be honest with you, there's some Black folks they should have never gave them media. They should have never gave them internet. They should have just locked them out of the internet. Period. Because they've done nothing but use it to act like a goddamn fool. And see, it's way too many people using it for that. Um, yeah, I mean, I think internet media and all that shit, special social media, was one of the worst things to happen to some of us because what it has allowed to happen, I don't think it's created the dysfunction, but it's amplified it and put a spotlight on it. Because now people can take the dysfunction that was already there and film it put it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all this kind of nonsense. So now it's just out there. I mean, it's flooded. The black society is flooded with dysfunction that's media. It's carried through media. So I say again, I think that social media and internet and all that shit, it has helped some people, but I think it has also hurt black society to a degree. And I think that it's going to get worse. I think
Yeah.
it's going to get worse.
Do you
Go
think
ahead,
it's
brother
helped
Spring.
like black activism though? Do you think that social media
Um,
has played a positive role
I think that
in
it has brought about awareness to certain black black social causes. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely, it has brought awareness because you can get the message out quick and in real time. Yes, it has helped that, but I think it's also brought out a lot of freaking charlatans and hucksters and doppelgangers who are not really, they're not really activists, man. They're more like actors and entertainers. I think
I
it's
agree.
it's it's allowed more of those people to kind of enter into the center when they're not really about a particular movement. They're just
I,
about being on media. You know what I'm
just
saying?
a just a question. And I'm really just trying to. I have an assumption. I'm just trying to see maybe if I can get corrected or validated. I don't know. We'll see. How has social media helped the black activism?
How has it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll answer first. I believe that it has allowed. Now, this is for the real people. Now, this isn't for the hucksters and the doppelgangers. The people who are really about social justice, uh, equality for black folks, equal opportunity for black folks, because they do exist. I know we see a lot of the bullshit motherfuckers on media, but some of those people actually do exist. I actually know a few of them. Now, for those people who are real about doing something, I think it has benefited because more people can hear their message than if they didn't have media, to spread the message. If they were just in a parking lot standing in front of a podium, yeah, they may get a crowd, but I think they get a bigger crowd because they can get on media and say, look, I'm gonna be at this parking lot at 5 o'clock on Friday, and I'm gonna be, talking about us. I think it has helped in that regard where it can gather more of the masses.
Well, let me clarify my question a little bit more then, to I guess put a little more laser focus on it. What have been some of the positive outcomes of
Well,
social media and black activism?
that's a different conversation because just because you gather 1,000 people as opposed to 10 people doesn't mean you've really accomplished anything except had a meeting. You just had a bigger meeting. Now, after you've had that bigger meeting, it has to go into some degree of action. So, I mean, as far as from what I can tell on that front, I don't think social media has done that much. I think it has. I think it has kind of galvanized. It has galvanized the people who are really about the quote unquote social justice, just like it's galvanized the people who are the freaking quote unquote, doppelgangers and hucksters and scammers. And, it's galvanized them too. So that's why I say, it's a double-edged sword, man. So, but this media shit always is. It always is. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly, there's indifferent. There's all kinds of shit. And unfortunately, there's so much of the bad, ugly, and indifference that often we miss the good. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much bad, so much ugly, so much indifference. We miss the good part. The good part gets hidden, so it gets buried in shit. Because it's not as glamorized, it's not as publicized. You have to really dig to find the good shit. Because all the bad, ugly, and indifferent shit is right in your face.
So
It's
what would
just
you
the
say,
truth.
Corey? What would you say? What would be some of the positive outcomes? Social media, black activism.
Oh shit, man. You know what? I think Black Lives Matter. We can go back to that flash in the pan. I think it was in 2000 and what was it, 13, 14, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think the beginning of that movement sparked a um, a zest, right, among young people that has ultimately resulted in them um, educating themselves about their history, right, about their rights as citizens in this country. Um, it has sort of been a catalyst, for young people to study more about the laws in this country. And they do seem, and I'm speaking about young people, they do seem like they are more socially and politically involved because of movements like Black Lives Matter. And of course, as you know, Black Lives Matter was completely media driven, social media driven. So I think in
Yeah.
that regard, it has been positive. On the flip side, I think, and then also, yeah, with it being used to exploit certain injustices that I think are exclusive to minorities, African Americans in particular. I think social media has been a tool, obviously, to shine a light on all of that, right? So those are the positives. But if I look at it, on the flip side, I would agree that there are a lot of people who claim to be activists, who claim to be about the struggle and about the cause, and they have used social media really to line their own pockets, right? To capitalize on the sorrows and the grievances of African Americans when they don't really give a shit about what we're going through. And that includes Black people as well. So I think social
So
media has been used for both objectives.
so just since we're talking about the whole quick thing about Black Lives Matters, how has Black Lives Matters advanced anything for black men?
It hasn't.
But yet black men dying are the face of the tragedies in that.
Exactly. They don't even mention black men until he laying dead in the street.
But
So
then a lot of the actual stuff that happens with Black Lives Matters has to do with things that are having to do with black women and the alphabet crew and all of that stuff. But
yeah,
actually things for black men and black boys, I can't name not one thing.
nope. I
I
mean,
was
all
going
you
to
got
mention that too,
just look at their
actually.
website. I don't even
Yeah.
think men are even mentioned on their damn website, man. They talk about everything except men. Told you they gather around a man when he's laying dead in the street with a bullet in his brain. Other than that, they ain't got too much rap produced. They'll march on behalf of the brother who got gunned down by NYPD or LAPD or something like that. But other than that, man, they ain't got much rap for males, man. None whatsoever.
Yeah,
I
I
want
would
to
actually
mention that
go
it
out
was
on a limb
started
and
by
say
Black
that
women. Black Lives Matter, the movement, it was started. Black women started that movement. They're
Yeah.
responsible for it.
mhm,
And so, to some degree, I do think that young black men have been exploited. They've been used as pawns, really to further sort of an underlying agenda, to elevate black women to the
correct.
forefront
Hmm.
of the community. And I think that's wrong. Totally, totally wrong. So I agree with you
Correct.
both about that. And
Yeah,
then just
with
kind
the
of,
blood of black men.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then just to elaborate further, um, I think that you know, black children, black boys, right? We are raised, many of us, by our mothers, and so I think to some degree, the younger generation of young boys, they've been feminized and programmed, right, to such a degree that they don't even respect black men. They respect their mothers. They respect black women more than they respect themselves and their fathers. Now, I believe that black women should be revered, absolutely, because they have been a pillar of our community, obviously, for years, right? But at the same time, that should be at the expense of black men. I have noticed over the years that social media has been used as a tool to minimize the importance of black men in our own communities, and that's a problem. And the perpetrators are normally black women.
Well, I mean, if I could share screen with you real quick, um,
Go ahead. Go
X.
ahead. Pull the trigger, man. Pull the trigger, brother Supreme. Go ahead. Pull the
And y'all remember like
trigger.
back in the day, what the whole Jack and Jill thing was about, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was like trying to work with black families, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or put black families together, man and woman. Yeah, you go to it now. Look at this about us. Are y'all seeing this?
Yeah, you see it.
What is that a family?
So is it Jill and Jill now? No more Jack and Jill. It's Jill and Jill.
That look like a mama. That look like a mama with her kids. Women, 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 women,
Well, we already know.
and then look at the national executive board.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So how can individuals be talking about, oh man, we want community, we want families, and you are putting women at the forefront of everything?
This when people talk that community shit, man, we already know who they talking about. These old mamas. That's who they talking about, man. That's who they're talking about. They're not. I don't even think they're talking about the children most of the time, man. Because you hear very little about the protection of black children, man. Very little. They'll put them in the photo as a photo op, but how often do you actually hear? Fine. They say okay, fine. They say the family is some chick with a bunch of kids. Fine, but it never gets past the chick. The kids are there, for optics, of course, but it never gets past her. It's all about her. It's never about the children. It's never about the children's development. It's never about the children's education. It's never about the children having a father.
And
It's
and
never
that's the
about
whole
that.
and that's the whole point. So, uh, and again, I'm just going back to one of the things that Cory was talking about. Like, I understand what he's saying again. That just people saying, you know what, no, I don't want to be with no black person or whatever, and how that's messed up.
I hate black
But
holes.
when you look at what is going on, especially when men are kind of going and doing their own thing and going out and whatever. I mean, look at what is look at what you have to choose from.
That's true.
You have a lot of women that in our communities, I'm not even faulting them, but they haven't been raised to even want or desire a family. They don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you they'll I don't know if you heard Obsidian show today, X, but he was using the analogy, well, not the analogy, but the use of the term. You know how they say we're queens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, in a monarchy, whatever the monarch said, go with. There was no
Yeah.
negotiation. There was no compromise. And I think that's a lot of the things that these individuals want. They don't want individuals to come together and to compromise like you and your wife got together. Y'all had to make decisions, and you compromise a few things for her, and she compromised things for you. It's like, no, a lot of the generations now that are being turned in with this whole thing of, oh, you know what, you a queen, you a 5-star chick, and all this other stuff. You ain't got to change for nobody. You and everybody just got to do everything for you and the man. It's like, how you kind of even have a viable relationship with such a person?
Yeah, well, I understand what brothers are up against, and I get it, man. I mean, is it the route that I took in my life? Of course not. But I understand why brothers did it. I get 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 it. I understand why they do what they do. Like my sons, I understand, man. They were looking for particular qualities in women, and because I know my sons had dated, black women. They had, in their lives, but those weren't the women they chose to marry. I mean, it is what it is. I
And I
mean,
hate to sound like a pessimist, Corey, but man, at X Dose, I'm one of those dudes that's like, hey, it needs to be burned down and start over because um,
and I totally freaking disagree with him on that point, and I
because it's
have for
like
quite some time.
because a perfect example is when y'all were talking about social media, and on Corey's end, he was saying that there was some positives at it. It was more exposure and so forth and blah blah blah. And then you said, yeah, but look how it was used. And it
Mhm.
reminds me of one of the analogies my parents gave me when I was younger, with the whole idea of the simple thing as a stove in the house. You don't let a toddler play with the stove uh, because they do not understand how to use it. They'll burn the whole house down. But when they get older and you've trained them on a few things, the stove becomes a useful tool. Your child learns to cook and can get to the point of cooking a meal for the whole family. And then when they move out, they understand how to use it for themselves and so forth. Well, social media to me was like that stove, and it was a um, experiment. And I'm sorry, Black America failed.
Mm,
They used it to their own detriment to burn their own house down.
mm.
That's a great point. I totally agree.
It showed that the majority of individuals within Black society had a childlike mentality when it came to using this tool.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing. This is the thing. You have people who know this, right? And they will take these same stats and these same facts that we often talk about, and they have a tendency to twist them and try to, I don't want to say make them seem good, but make them seem like whatever bad thing happened was kind of forced on these people. Now, we have these arguments all the time on media about, the white folks, white power structure, white folks is controlling us, they got a chip in our brain, making us, do drugs, have 10 baby mamas, have 10 baby daddies, all that kind of shit. Yeah, they're programming us to do this shit. Now, some of us escape the programming somehow. Yeah, some of us escape the programming somehow, but there's those of us who, they program, when we born, when we come out of our old mammy womb, they make sure they install that chip so they know it's in there for our whole lives, make us go back and forth to jail, make us steal cars, make us tote guns, make us use drugs, make us impregnate 25 women, you know the story. So when when people try to turn it into that shit, I mean that kind of puzzles me because it's like, if fine, you say that we're being controlled by all this stuff. So what about the people who are not? And I've had this argument with people before too, where they say, well, you're not doing that and you're not doing this because, see, the white folks allowed you to do what you're doing. See, you're just one out of many, where the white folks, they allowed you to do it because, see, you acclimated yourself. You did things the way white folks like things done. So of course they're gonna allow you to have a house. Of course they're gonna allow you to have a job or a career or a business or a family. Yeah, of course they're gonna let you do it because, see, you didn't do things, the way us other black folks do things. So you're one of those Negroes where white folks allowed you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's backwards thinking for sure.
Oh, is it? Is it? It's than ever. But it's you'd be surprised, brother Haywood. You would be surprised the shit you hear up on media as far as the white man go. As I've heard people. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me put this disclaimer out there so people don't get it get a mistake here. I know that white supremacy exists. I know that the white power structure has an effect on black folks. That's no secret. I mean, anybody with half a brain knows that. But my thing is this: you would have people are so extreme with this shit that they basically act like, the white man got strings attached to you, like you are marrying a marionette, and everything you do is because of the white man. Everything you have is because of the white man. If you stumped your toe coming out your house, it's because of the white man. I have heard people say that if they stump their foot, if they stop if they break a nail, it's because of the white man. So I mean, that kind of shit to me is crazy. I mean, I just do not believe that the white man is in control of every goddamn thing that I do. And I have had discussions about this with other people where they say, "Oh, X, the only reason why you're doing this because the white man let you do it. They can take it away from you just like that." And I'm like, well, taking it away from me, they'd have to do the same shit, you know, to me that they would do to a white person, a Hispanic person, or an Asian person. Because, see, I have the same shit. I have the same licenses. I have the same LLC. I have the same kind of EIN. I have the same kind of insurance. So if they're going to take my shit, it's not like they can do it. They can do something different to me because I'm black, because I got the same shit that a white man's got. I got the same shit that an Asian man's got. So you're telling me there's these special rules for my shit because, see, I'm black. So there's special rules. There's special shit that's just for me that can cause me to lose all my shit if the white man says so. I mean, I just can't buy into that shit, man. I can't.
Well, I think that a large part of it, and then I got to run, so I got to get up early in the morning. But I do want to say this. Um, I think it's much easier for us, when I say us, I mean black people, to view ourselves as victims, right? As long as we see a victim when we look in the mirror, it allows us to sit and watch everyone else advance and progress while we move in the opposite direction, right? It rationalizes our
Mm,
mediocrity. You see what I mean?
yeah.
Because when we can point the finger at other people, right? it prevents us from actually having to hold ourselves accountable. It prevents us from having to take responsibility for our own actions, because the victim, right, gains sympathy from everyone else, right? A victim isn't forced to look in the mirror, right, and to make changes or adjustments. A victim is coddled. A victim um, is to some degree, insulated from, protected from criticism, right, and from scrutiny. So if we can convince the masses that we're victims, then we'll never be able to force to actually grow up and mature.
I
And
agree.
that's why I think Black people have struggled so mightily. It's because we would rather be victims than conquerors. And I've said this on your show before. And of course, that didn't go too well with the other guests you had on your show, if you recall.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
What?
didn't sit too well with them.
Cory had some haters?
Oh man, he's got quite a few. He's got quite a few. I mean, T.P.O.T has changed over the course of time. So, I mean, I have a slightly different audience now. I mean, a lot of people that follow me now have been following me for years, but I have a different kind of audience now. So, the people that are in my audience now are, I got a lot more thinking, cerebral type audience now. So, they're not gonna jump on Brother Haywood like that. And notice no one has.
I
Notice no
agree
one
with
has.
I agree with Hayward, because responsibility, maturity, it's hard. It requires change, and it requires a lot of energy, and it requires individuals to understand that everything that they say and do isn't always right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Plus, if you're always the perpetual victim, man, I mean, it opens the door, man, for you to have a damn reason to be a failure. Because if you're always perpetuating victimhood and always talking about, it's like a chick who always talking about people are following her and people are doing shit to her and all this kind of bullshit. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Oh, these people are after me. Oh, they're following me. Oh, they're chasing me. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're doing that. As long as you're saying that, you can always claim that something's wrong. You can always claim that something's hindering you. You can always claim that something's in your way. Because, see, there's always shit in your way. There's always shit after you. There's always shit stopping you from doing the shit you need to do. So you never have to say, damn, I fucked up. Damn, I failed. Damn, I didn't do what I needed to do. You never have to say that, because you can always say, well, I could have did it, but the white man wouldn't let me. Oh, I could have went and did this thing, but I was scared because these people were following me, and they were following me for like 3 months. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. This shit's bullshit, man.
You know how that goes, man. Man, I enjoy speaking with Cory, and
Yeah,
I got
Brother Haywood,
Likewise,
man.
man.
You
and
gotta
you
bring
said
your
you're
behind back here, brother.
Absolutely will, guys. It was a pleasure, man, having this conversation with you two, man. I got to run, but thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hit me up, bro.
We'll do, man.
All right, peace.
I got you, man.
Yeah, y'all, that's my bro, Cory Haywood. I mean, those of you who have been following me a few years, Brother Haywood has been coming on T.P.O.T for years, man, years. You look in some of my archives, you see a lot of Cory Haywood up in there, man. And a lot of those shows, boy, he talking cash shit, boy. He was relatively calm tonight, but Cory gets at it, boy. Cory gets at it. What's good, Brother Art? I see you up there. I got to bring my brother up here, man. I'm surprised he ain't painting tonight. Check your email, Brother Art. I started late tonight, Brother Supreme. I didn't start, man, till like fucking I only been on the air like an hour, man. Because I started at like fucking 11:15, man. Because my goddamn, my main goddamn work truck fucked up. So, I had to,
I heard
I
that,
had
man.
to, I had to, I had to rectify. I had to rectify. that situation had to be rectified immediately. So I didn't shit, man. I came on the air like fucking late as hell. But yeah,
I see BLT down there too.
Yeah, I see brother BMT down there. I gotta bring my brothers up here, man. This is the first time I've been back in weeks, man. Like, it's crazy because I didn't really miss this shit. Um, I didn't really miss this shit. But Cory had hit me up. Actually, he had hit me up last week. Oh man, I want to come on X, blah, blah, blah. So I figured, what the hell? I come back with old Cory, let him come up here, talk some shit, and
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to check
do
out
that
some of
like
his
that.
writings, man. I did. This is my first time coming across him.
Yeah, he's on your web, EUR web. It's damn, I forgot this is urban electronic urban radio, I believe it is. Let me see. No, it don't stand for that. Hell no. Oh, electronic urban report. He
Oh,
writes
okay.
a lot of stuff for that. He writes for the Black Hat. I mean, he's been writing for years, man. I mean, I met Cory in 2014, and he was already, actually, I met him after reading one of his articles in the Black Hat that he had wrote in, like, I think 2013 and 2014. That's how we met. And shit, man, I know brother Haywood's been coming on my show, man, ever since. He's been coming on here talking shit for 5-6 years. Goddamn it, you know.
Yeah, man.
Always come up late and whole nine. But yeah, I mean, he's a really, really good writer, man, and he's a provocateur. He's got a couple books. I think his last book was called Coon Flakes. I think it was called
Oh
some.
man, you
That
you
was
know you're hitting
that was
right
the
down
one. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called Coon Flakes. The last he had came on here, man, to promote the book. And let me tell you something, boy. Brothers was all over him, boy. But Cory liked that kind of shit. He don't care. He
Yeah.
don't care. That was back when we had hangouts and you could have like 9 folks on. Shit, man. It's like 7 brothers on there jumping on Cory, man. He didn't give a shit. He didn't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go dig into your archives and take a look at that one, man.
Yeah. You gotta check it out, man. Just punch in because if you can even Google this shit, because X is Googleable. If you punch in Cory Haywood, right, and you punch up images, you'll actually see a tab that comes up that says T.P.O.T. You hit that tab and it'll show you all the shows that Cory was on.
Cool,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you Google it, yeah, you Google that shit, you Google Cory Haywood, and you go to images and you pull it up, and you'll see a tab that says T.P.O.T. You hit that shit, and all the shows will come up, because he's been on here quite a few times, man. I mean, Cory, one of my people. He's one of my old school usual suspects and shit. He was actually pretty calm tonight. I mean, that's Cory kind of calm. I mean, Cory turn it up, boy.
So let me get this right. Let me guess on this. So when he's doing his thing on the shows and you got bros coming at him and so forth, he instantly becomes a coon, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna have to check him out then. I support
Told
all
you
my
he wrote a book called Coon Flakes. That's the title of the fucking book. Coon Flakes. Yeah. I think that was, let me see, that was last year. Yeah, that was last year, man. Yeah, and of course, brothers was all over when he came to fucking promote that book, boy. Because some of everybody on the motherfucking stream that night, boy. I'm talking some of everybody. They was letting him have it. And he don't give a shit. Cory don't care. Because he'll call me the next day or write me and be like, oh, X, man, I kicked all their asses. Yeah.
So what was your thought on this
Cory.
what was your thought on this whole April Mason thing?
I think she's full of crap, obviously. I think that it would have made more sense. And I've said this before. It would have made more sense, especially after she found out that the cousin lied. It would have made more sense if she'd have just said, hey, look, my cousin told me, that XYZ happened. And you know, I thought it was real. Come to find out, my cousin's full of crap. And you know, I just, you know, I just want to let y'all know that, you know, I thought this shit was real. You know, I really thought it was real. Unless this is what I was thinking, right? I was thinking that maybe she did know it was crap and just used it as a talking point anyway. I mean, shit,
Well, she
wouldn't
doubled
be
down
the first
on it.
time. Yeah, after she found out about the lie, she doubled and tripled down on it. You know,
Yeah.
telling us not to believe our lying eyes. Don't believe your lying eyes. You know, don't believe what you see in that video. You know, I mean, you know, that kind of shit. That's the same shit white folks do. You know, you see some dude get shot, you know, in the head by the police when he got his hands up, and the damn commissioner come out and say, oh, well, you know, what you see on that video isn't the whole story. Well, maybe it's not, but it's enough. It's enough of it. You
So I
know?
got a
Yeah, it's
question.
enough of it.
I got a question for you and also the chat. Whenever they get it, but um, which one is worse? Uh, these events where these white people are calling the cops on black folk for ordinary stuff like barbecuing and all this other stuff, or April Mason's cousin accusing three black dudes of uh, kidnapping her and trying to get the East Point police on this empty chase on black men. I mean, to you, which one is worse?
I think they're similar, brother Supreme, because either way, you talking about calling the police on black men, and you know, when it comes to police being called on black men, that could always turn into something. Okay.
Hmm.
That could always escalate into something else. So I think both things are equally dangerous, you know, especially when you're calling the cops on black men for nothing. Because
Okay.
let me tell you something, a lot of black men that have been killed by the police were black men who weren't doing anything.
Right.
A lot
Now,
of them. I mean, not all of them. I'm not going to sit up here and say all of them. I mean, but you
right.
know, some black men that have been killed by the police weren't doing anything, and they ended up dead in the street. So whenever you bring in the cops, whenever the cops are summoned and called and sent to investigate something going on with a black man, that's always a potential for a black man to lose his life. That I do believe. Okay, there's always potential there for a black man to be dead. So I
So,
mean, you got to think really, really clearly before you do that shit.
so I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say it was worse for
What's
April
worse?
Mason and for April Mason and her cousin to have done what they did. And this is the
How
reason
come?
why. Let me give you here's the reason why. You remember the old Shakespearean play Julius Caesar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Famous line out of it is "Et tu, Brute," when he
Mm.
expected other people to want to chop him down and go against him and so forth, but not the man that was supposed to have his back and to be his best friend. The same thing. It's like these are the same women that are supposed to be carrying Black Lives Matter posters and signs and all this other stuff. And then they turn around and accuse some dudes and put them in that type of situation. To me, that's worse. That's treasonous.
Yeah, but what we have to understand, brother Supreme, is that
These are the same individuals that say, "Oh, we understand your struggle."
oh, yeah, as long as yours and theirs are synchronous, you know what I'm saying? I mean, long as they're synchronous, yeah.
But
But
here it
I
was
mean,
that they would be the same ones that if it was as they call it, a barbecue Becky or something like that, calling the police on the dude for no reason and all this other stuff that would make all of these tweets and they will go on all these shows and do all this other stuff. And yet here is one
Well,
doing the exact same thing to you that's in the media.
well, unfortunately, brother Supreme, that kind of shit happens all the time. I mean, you always hear. See, this is what pisses me off. See, now we're gonna get into this. You always hear women talk about the white man, the white man, the white man, the white man. And most of the time when you hear this kind of talk, it's usually coming from the women. Oh, the white man this, the white man that, the white man should be killed, the white man should be hung, we should be going to war, and all some kind of nonsense. They always talking that shit. You hear it all over media. They're always talking about going to war with the white man. That's all they talk about. But these same freaking hoes will turn around and call the white man on you. Always talking about how the police kill black men. Always talking about Eric Garner. Always talking about Michael Brown. Always talking about Trayvon Martin. Always talking about this one. Always talking about that one. This same person who will run down these soliloquies about how the white man kills black men, she'll get right on the phone and call the very same white man, the very same white agency, the very same oppressor, subjugator on your black ass. She'll do that the next day. You and her could be having a conversation. She'll be like, she'll be giving you that whole Martin Luther King talk. She'll be like, boy, the white man will kill your ass in a minute. And you'll be laying in the street. Yeah, she'll be giving you all of that shit. And then tomorrow she'll turn right around and call the police on your black ass. So we can't be surprised about that kind of shit. We just can't, man. We cannot be surprised when you got women calling the police on black men frivolously. Okay. I don't even think that's so much. Well, these cases here kind of prove it, that it may not even be so much as a black woman thing. I think it may be a woman thing, period. Because you got a lot of these old white women calling the police on black people for no damn reason. They ain't doing shit but selling water. They ain't doing shit but selling ice cream. They ain't doing shit except fucking living their life, barbecuing, sleeping at a place where they live at, walking into a place that they live at, and here they go on the phone with the police. So, I mean, that in itself lets you know that they don't give a shit about black men's lives, because see, they have evolved to a place where they say, well, I'm here, you're here, you make me uncomfortable, so your life is not as valued as my comfort. Because when you call the police on a black man, that black man's life potentially is on the line. Whoever don't know that is a goddamn idiot. You know that black man's life is potentially on the line. You know that. You see the stories, you read the papers, you see the news, you're on the internet. But just because you are uncomfortable, you're willing to make that phone call and put that black man's life on the line. Because see, that black man's life isn't as valuable as your comfort. You understand?
Man, that's that's a handful right there, man. So I mean, I totally understand then when you have dudes that'll say, that'll be basically saying, nah, as a black man, like I don't have no allies. And you can't just say this whole thing about, oh man, you're a black woman on your side. No, no, that's insane.
Nope. Yeah, maybe yours is the one that you have. I mean, but shit, my woman, I know she on my side, but I don't think none of these other black ass fucking women out here on my side for anything. Are you kidding me? You actually think I would fucking write Black Lives Matter and actually think we got something in common, even though I'm in media and been in media for years. And those are one people that I've never tried to get on my shit. And I've had a whole host of folks come on my when I was on radio because I had big names when I was on radio, just like I have big names now. I've never reached out to them fools. Never. Why would I? I already know what they're gonna talk about. Shit that don't pertain to black men. I know. I've been on their website. They talk about Black Lives Matter. They should just go ahead and say black women's lives matter. They might as well just go ahead and say that because their site don't say shit about men. The only time they talk about men is when a man's laying in the street with a bullet in his brain. That's the only time. And that's the wrong time to be concerned about us. that's the that's the wrong time to be marching for us when we're laying in the street with our brains all over the sidewalk. I mean, come on, man. I'm not interested. And I definitely don't think that black women are on my side. Because let me tell you something. When I go out and about in my travels, when I'm picking up parts and picking up machinery and picking up, parts for my car and picking up equipment and tools and shit like that, when I run into these black assholes, I get the shittiest attitudes ever. I get the shittiest attitudes when they working behind the counter. I get the wrong shit most of the time. Have to come back, get the right thing. This is what I get. All right. This is what I get. When I go to I told you before what happened with the brother, when I went to get my alternator and shit. I mean, shit, man, you get that kind of deal when you fuck with the brothers. When you run into the brothers, and it makes me because I talk to my wife about this all the time. We often talk about how we as black men we don't get along. I mean, in my real life, man, I got a rapport with every black motherfucker that come around. The black garbage man, the black mailman, the black motherfucker at the auto parts store, the black motherfucker at Home Depot. Shit, all black motherfucker. I'm cool in the game. I get deals and whole nine when I go up in there. So I don't fully buy the black men don't get along with each other shit because I got a good rapport with a lot of brothers, in many different trades and fields and shit. I know landscapers who will come and drop me off soil and chips and grass and all kinds of shit. Brothers, it's the black holes that you don't get along with. I know that's how it is with me in my real life.
I agree with you, man. But you gonna kick a hornet's nest.
Yeah, well, I don't give a shit because it's true. I mean, I'm not making this up. I mean, in my life, all right, and I know this is anecdotal. I know that, but in my life, Brother Supreme, I have a good rapport with many brothers. I told you, man, the garbage man, the mailman's a brother. The brother at the supply store, the brother at the auto parts store, shit, even at Home Depot. It's a brother in there that'll give me a deal on the low. You know, I mean, the brothers that I come in contact with, shit, we cool in the game. Shit, it's when I run into the broads. It's the black broads that I run into in my travels and throughout my business is where I get problems. It's where I get bad service and get wrong shit and the wrong product. It's them. They ain't the brothers, man. It's not.
Yeah,
Not
I
in
have
my
to agree
travels.
with that.
Maybe I just live in the wrong place. I don't know. I don't
Nah,
know.
it happens here and a lot of other places that I go to visit, especially whenever I'm doing business. Man, it's been pretty consistent. And the
Yeah.
only
I mean,
brothers that I
shit,
have
man.
problems with is the bros that are wanting to be thugs. That's about it. But
Yeah. Shit, I don't even have
that's
problems with them. Shit. Well, I don't really be, when I'm out and about, I don't really, come across them like that. But I mean, I went to the bank one time, man. I told my wife this story. I go to the bank, right? Somebody had wrote me a check, right? I had did some work. They wrote me a check. Now, it wasn't my bank. It was because I don't bank with Bank of America. I freaking hate them. I used to have them a while back. I hate that bank. But this was what the check was made out to. I said, fuck it. I didn't have no money on me. I needed some money. The bank was right there, so I went in there to cash the check. So I go inside of there, right? And I'm standing on the line, and there's a Hispanic teller and there's a black teller. And the look on this old fucking bitch face, and she was older broad too. She had to be like hitting 50. I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't get this broad. I hope I don't get this broad. And God damn it, I got her. So I get up there and I'm like, I want to cash this check. And she was like, oh, do you have an account with us? I was like, no. And I pulled out all kinds of ID, man. I pulled out, my state ID, license, credit card, business card, all kinds of shit. Press pass. I got all kinds of shit in my wallet. And she was like, I can't use this because see the check was made out with my middle name. They had wrote my middle name on it. And I was like, yeah, but you're looking at this, you can see that, this is my name. It's on all my shit. And she was like, no. So I said, where's the manager? And she was like, oh, he'll be right here. So I went and stood off to the side. And the manager came, and the manager, he was like, he's like some Asian guy. And he called me in his office. I was like, man, look at all this shit with my name on it. I said, but your damn teller won't cash my damn check. And he was like, what? I said, yeah. So he got up and he went out there and he came and he got me. And he's like, come on, get your check cash. I was like, I said, you want me to go to her? He said, yeah, go to her. So he sent me right to the same old black nasty bitch. And, of course, I got up there. I signed the check. She snatched the motherfucker, stamped it and all that. Literally threw my motherfucking money at me and shit. She might as well had just balled it up in her damn fist and just like threw it in my face and shit. But she wouldn't let me cash the check. So, me, I'm a petty ass motherfucker. So the following week, I was working in that area again, and somebody else had wrote me a check from Bank of America. So I go into the same motherfucker. Yeah, I go up in there, Brother Supreme. But this time I go in there and I draw the Latino girl. And when I get to the Latino girl, she's like, look at that shit. Look at my ID. She's like, boop, hit that shit, make you do the, thumbprint shit, because you ain't got no account there. And then she just cashed my shit. Didn't give me no hump, no grub. And the black fucking bitch, she just looking at me like, daggers too. Like, I don't know, maybe her boss fucking got her, maybe her boss said something to her because the day I was there, he sent me right back to her. I was like, man. But the next time I went the following week, I went right back to that same bank. I said, I'm gonna go in this motherfucker and see what happened. But I didn't get her. I got the Hispanic girl, and the Hispanic girl just cashed my shit. I showed her my ID. She just cashed that shit. I was like, you see this shit? I told my wife about that shit. I said, I went in there. I got the Spanish girl. She ain't give me no guff. Goddamn, I go in there with the black broad. Goddamn, I gotta call the manager. I gotta call the FBI. She want to see my birth records and all some kind of bullshit, just to cash the check.
Boy. It's like you just can't make this stuff up, man. Can't make it up.
But Joe, people see this is the thing, right? People will say, this is what people will say. Because people say this kind of stuff to me all the time. They say, oh, X, you hate black women. And I say, well, it's kind of hard for me to hate them because I'm around so many of them. I mean, I have a black wife. I have 2 adult black daughters. I have 4 sisters. And I have about 3 sister-in-laws. So I'm around women all the time. And, my wife is an esthetician and a cosmetologist. So guess what? When I go to her place and go to her shop and go where she going, I'm always around the hoes. So it's not like if I hated them, if I hated them, you would hear a lot more vitriol. You would hear a lot more venom. You would hear, so much other stuff. It's not that I hate them. It's just that I hate how they treat people. And maybe some of us, maybe some of us have been through so much of this with black broads that we think that only black broads do this stuff. Okay. Because some of the worst encounters that I've had with black women weren't with women that I know. Some of the worst encounters I've had with black women are women who are total strangers, like at the customer service desk, the teller at the bank, the girl at the window at freaking McDonald's type shit. It's not even so much, I mean, the women around me, my daughters, my wife, my sister-in-law, they got their bullshit too, of course. They can't help it. They're like their old mammies. But I mean, some of the worst encounters that I've had with women are women that I don't even fucking know that I will never see again. Those are some of the worst encounters I've had. It's crazy how that is. So you kind of get bias. You kind of get somewhat prejudiced because I don't get that same shit don't happen to me is as frequently when I encounter Asian chicks, Latino chicks, white chicks. I just don't encounter that kind of stuff. Because see, I'm a tradesman. So I'm always in and out of, equipment stores. I'm always in and out of Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, auto parts stuff. Always in and out those places, Brother Supreme. And when I'm in there, if the girl behind the counter is a black girl, I'm more likely to get some bullshit story, some guff. I'm not. I'm telling you, I tell my wife about the shit all the time. She think I be making that shit up until she go and she see the guess what? She go in places they give her the grief too, you know. But when if it's a white girl in there or Hispanic girl, I don't get the same shit, man. I just don't. Maybe
Man,
it's something about me. All right.
now look at this, man. I then came and started massaging my shoulders. So it's time for me to
Mhm.
to roll up out. But man, thank you for having
All
me,
right.
man. And
Yeah,
man,
man.
I'm glad you back, man. It was a little
Yeah,
hiatus, but you got to get back in the saddle. I
yeah, I'm
hope you
back, man. Tomorrow, if you ain't doing nothing, Brother Supreme, I'm gonna have Perfectibility up here tomorrow. You know who Perfectibility is, right?
Oh yeah,
Brother
man. That's
Sean.
Louisiana. Hop, skip, and jump away. So he'll
Billis gonna be
keep
up here
you
tomorrow.
entertained, man.
Yeah, we gonna be throwing down, man. He gonna be talking about his mom and shit, because he had wrote me a couple times. He was telling me, the shit he went through with his mom and shit. We've been trying to connect for like the past few weeks, but with the move and every fucking thing else has been fucked up. So I finally got him and he'll be here tomorrow. So, everybody, y'all need to tune in tomorrow. It's gonna be a good show tomorrow, y'all. It is,
Man,
you
I
know.
think that would be a nice little series for you, man. So far as like some of the personal stories of what some of these guys have dealt with, in their home with their,
Oh,
especially if they've
oh,
been raised up with.
you mean a series about these old mamas. You mean that?
Yeah,
You
man.
mean a series about
Yeah,
that?
man. Cause like it's like you think about it. Um, I think what
Oh
that
shit.
what was that movie Precious? They talk about
Yeah,
the women and what they went through, but there's no real stories about the men and what they go
because they
through.
don't
So
they don't care. They don't care, Brother Supreme. They don't give a shit what males go through with their mothers, man. They really don't, man. And the crazy thing is, I mean, I've had a few women on these streams, man, talking about what they went through, with their mothers and shit like that. The abuse, getting molested by the boyfriend and all this kind of nonsense. But I mean, you don't hear it from the brothers. You just don't, man. You don't hear the brother's side. But tomorrow that changes.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
man.
that changes.
Just real briefly, man. I remember in high school, at the in the 12th grade, we had like this little mentoring program where we mentored freshmen that were coming in, and I remember talking to this one kid, and he would never want um, his parents to come up to the school. And
Mm,
so I asked him about, his parents or whatever. He said that his dad had died. And, his mom's just, just horrible. So, we got a
yeah.
little close. And afterwards, one of the things that he always used to tell me was, is he said, um, one of the reasons he didn't want her to come up to the school was he said he didn't want her to be hitting on any of the male teachers and coaches.
Wow.
Because he was like, man, he's like, every other week or so, he's like, man, I'm in my room blasting my music on purpose because I don't want to hear that junk coming from my mama's room.
Wow. Because mom just
Like,
old whole
good
bag.
grief, man.
Now, ain't that some shit when a young man don't want his mama to come to the goddamn school because he's scared she gonna be trying to fuck the coach and the teacher? Man, I'm not surprised though, man. I've heard those stories, man, because brother Jay Shine, when he was in the States, I know you gotta go, but I want to tell you this story. When he was in the States, right? Him and his people, they had a mentoring group. They actually used to go and mentor, these kids, these single moms, the shit people always talk, oh, y'all need to be mentoring these kids. So they actually used to go and mentor the kids. They would take the kids on trips and do boxing and basketball and teach them shit, and all that kind of shit. Culture the kids. They said Jay Sean said that the mamas would be coming up there trying to get at the goddamn guys who freaking, who mentoring the kid. They
Yep.
coming up there trying to fuck the dudes instead of letting the boy be mentored and taught how to box and taught how to read and play basketball and go on trips and shit like that. They coming up there with mini skirts and coochie cutters and shit like that, trying to fuck the guys that's trying to mentor the boys and shit. Like,
Right.
man,
And that would totally undermine the respect that the boys would have for their mentors.
absolutely, absolutely. He said that they would Jay Sean was said because I got it on one of these streams somewhere. It was a while ago, and Jay Sean said that they would come there, and he said sometimes the mamas would show up at the goddamn thing without the damn boys and shit. Like they just come, like they just showing up. They don't even bring the
Yeah,
kid.
man. It is some crazy stuff, man. But yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that kid specifically, though, man. I remember when he told me that because I had been tutoring him and mentoring him for, probably about 6 months or so. And then he kind of broke down and told me that. And I was just like, good grief. How as a young man, you're what, 14, 15 years old, and you going home and you got to blast your music late at night because dudes coming in and out your house,
yeah,
banging your mama. I mean, that's some crazy stuff, man.
of course it
And
is,
not
man.
even have the self respect to go do that somewhere else.
Nope.
It's thrown off.
It's sick and it's selfishness, man. You know, it's sick and it's selfishness. But yeah, man, come through tomorrow, man. We're
Yeah,
going down tomorrow.
if I'm free, man, I definitely will. I know, like I told you, man, come
Yeah,
what
I know
about
Percy's a rookie,
yeah about
you
that,
know.
but man, this month, whoo, man,
Yeah,
I'm it's gonna be a rough month. I'm booked.
yeah, I know. Me
But
too. Me
yeah,
too. Luckily for me, the season has slowed down a bit, but I do other shit too. I don't just, I don't just do mechanical engineering. I do other shit too. I do commercial maintenance. I do commercial renovations, flooring and carpentry and walls and electrical. I do that shit too. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But I know this month's gonna be a doozy. It done already started out that way. So there it is.
Well, thanks,
But yeah,
man.
man, I get up with
Yeah, you take care.
you. Yeah, man, I'll hit you up, man. I'll probably call you on the phone in the next couple of days or whatever, so we can go back and forth on this let it burn shit.
Whenever, man. Whenever. All right,
Yeah,
chat. All
man.
right, everybody.
Peace, bro. All right, man. Yeah, man. We gonna wrap it up too, man. But you know, not for nothing, man. I know that we as black folks, man, we have our difficulties. We have our problems. I mean, we all know that shit. Regardless of what you attribute them to, if you attribute them to the white power structure, if you attribute them to the crack era, if you attribute them to uh, bad decision making, if you attribute them to us, we know that we got some problems. We know that we got some issues. So that being said, you would think that knowing that we would be working harder to fix them. Um, Not so much working so hard to, place the blame on this, that, and the other thing. You would think that we'd be working hard to fix them, you know, at least trying, you know. And I think that some of us try, but I think that some of us don't try to do shit. I think that some of us we're satisfied with the status quo. We're satisfied with the way shit is. I think many of us are perpetual victims, male and female. That's not gender specific. Male and female. I think a lot of us we're happy with being perpetual goddamn victims. We're happy with not trying to change, not trying to grow. I think a lot of us are happy with that shit. I just think we are. I think we're happy with it. We're happy with the fact that we can sit back and say, well, we can't do this, we can't do that because of the white man. We can't do this, we can't do that because of this woman. We can't do this, we can't do that because of this man. I think a lot of us are happy with that shit. I think we're happy with it, you know and that is a problem in itself. That's a problem. I mean, at some point, man, you know accountability is hell, man, especially self accountability. I mean, the hardest thing in the world to do is to look in the mirror and say, you know what, man, I really screwed up. I messed up. I did that wrong. That was backwards. No, that's a hard thing to do, boy. That's hard for all of us. I know it is. That shit hard for me sometimes. But guess what? It's necessary. It's necessary, man. It's necessary to look in the mirror and not just to see a reflection, but to reflect. And not just the physical mirror, that mental mirror, because that's where the reflecting comes from. So you look in a physical mirror to see your reflection. You got to look in that mental mirror, man, to do some reflecting. And you know what's wrong with your life. You know what's screwed up in your life. Maybe it ain't the things that we talk about on here. Maybe it's something else. Maybe we don't talk about whatever problem is in your life. Maybe we don't. But whatever problems you have in your life, you know what they are. And you also know what caused them. And it's probably not what you think. It's probably not who you think either. I'd be willing to bet everything that a lot of the shit that happens to us has to do with us. And I'm not just talking about collectively, man. You know, I mean, we could make a lot of arguments about the stuff that happened to black folks collectively, man. We could come up with, I could come up with 75 arguments tonight. But I'm talking about us individually. I'm talking about what goes on in our day to day life. Did you have to spend that money on them Rams? Did you have to have a 70-inch TV? A 50 wasn't good enough for you? Did you have to have 20 pairs of Jordans instead of 5? Shit like that. Does your kid have to have an Xbox and a PlayStation? You understand? That kind of shit. And that's little simple stuff. Little simple stuff. But guess what? If we ain't prepared to deal with the simple stuff, how the hell are we going to deal with the more difficult stuff? I think that's where we need to start. Don't you? We need to start with the simple stuff, man. Period. I know we get up here, man, and we talk about hard shit. We talk about things that ain't going to change for another generation. Stuff that's somewhat difficult. Stuff that you gotta have some kids and raise them up and get them to be 18, 19, 20 before you can change some of this shit. But shit, there's shit you can change tomorrow. There's shit you can change tonight. Because guess what? If you start changing some of the easier things in your life that need changing, maybe some of the more difficult things in our lives will get a little easier to change too. How's that saying go? A journey of 10,000 miles starts with the first step. And I think a lot of us haven't really made that first step yet. We haven't made that first step, man. We haven't made that first step, and we know we need to. Many of us, we know we need to, man. There's plenty of shit that we can change, man. I know it's plenty of shit that I'm working on changing in my life. It's that first step, man. That first step, that's what we're afraid of. Yeah, we're afraid of it. Scared we might be good at something. Scared we might fuck around and succeed. All about that first step, though. Question now is, what are we waiting for? I'm just saying. But anyway, I want to thank everybody, man, for coming out tonight. I want to thank all these folks over here in this here area called this here chat, for always being there for me, man, and looking out and dropping coins on me and supporting the stream as always. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Y'all know I do. I want y'all to go on down to the Proper to Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper to Thought, one word, series, the next word on Facebook. I want you to go down there, like the page, share the page, follow the page. That's our community page. That's our main page. So go ahead, man, jump on there. I'm not on there that often, but if you send me a message, I will answer within 24 and 168 hours. While you're there, while you're there on Facebook, make sure you go down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get in there quick. If not, just drop me a line. I'll talk to my admin. You'll be able to get in there because sometimes my shit be getting blocked too. I don't know why. I'm not an admin on there. My shit be getting held for review. I'll be like, what the hell is this bullshit? But yeah, go ahead, go on down there. There's always shit going on down there. People are always posting down there because it's like a fan group page, so you ain't got to just listen to X run his mouth. You got other people down there bumping their old gums too. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper to Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. You guaranteed to get a follow back. I checked my Instagram the other day. I seen a few of y'all had followed. You go ahead, look at your stuff. You can tell I followed all y'all back, and it was quite a few of y'all too. And I followed all of y'all back. Yeah, I followed all of y'all back because I appreciate y'all. I'm a man of my word. You follow me, you're gonna get a follow back. Also, y'all know we always end the night like this. Get your black behinds down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. Go ahead, follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams. Christmas Eve. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. Thank these wonderful people over here, but most important, I want to thank you, man, for showing up tonight, man, spending some time with us and watching us tonight. Once again, tomorrow, Perfected Billis will be here, and we're gonna be he's gonna be telling his story, man, about his mom. So y'all want to tune in for that. The brother's got a good story, man. So make sure you have your black behinds here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, home of DXL. That's right, y'all. The Proper to Thought series returns. Yeah. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. Like I always do. Open your mind, your mind, your mind, your
So, a community is where you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live,
Peace, folks.
Well, what about the big group that get out? Oh, well, my cousin, he's a multi-millionaire. I almost got $1 billion. 3 PhDs working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his own car, enjoying himself, and he is sorry in his top car, flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heartbeat fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And it was that top car it wasn't after you in the first place, that Negro that you can get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your failures, your road hard, with your PhD, didn't help. That's true. Why do you think you never pick up the paper over and over? See white girls, thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white girls cry? That's like, oh, God, my mom was fun. I put the back of the head. Why you think black cops are make them more spiritual? And you're going to say, no. You got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we were organized, which is hard to organize people who are just going to run crazy, you don't know crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun have to have a license just like you to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's a jail, you can never work again as a cop or store guard or private detective. Now, how do you get Congress to put that? Well, you take the economic power, and you call on your friends, black, white, young, and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law, a cop law, police brutality by law, we call for a nationwide for a Christmas, and the start on Thanksgiving. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People did business all year. Those money just for Christmas. Well, what happens now? Thanksgiving happens, Toys R Us, Sears over, restaurants. They will get the deal and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, Senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's economic. But we have the power with the system that wiped us out so bad.
Open your mind, your mind.
Only from the Prophet of Thought series. 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 Only from the